I can say one thing though. I got I know my dad always gives me tips and advice.
Yeah.
But if I were to listen to my dad, then I wouldn't have been on the track I am today. Because he was, because I was telling him, oh yeah, I think I want to flip houses. I want to do this. He's like, why do you want to do that? Just go talk to this person. I was like, why am I going to talk to them? They're not doing what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? And he was just like,
I'm blowing up like you thought I would. I'm blowing up like you thought I would. It's all good.
Welcome to the Deals in Aloha podcast, where we talk about real estate deals, hope to leave a lasting impact on our audience, and of course, spread aloha.
Gee.
You can find us on Instagram at Kamohai and Tristyn. Please like, share, subscribe to this podcast. We are trying to beat the algorithm and get a lot more viewership, so all of that stuff helps us. Let's go.
Let's go. So today we have a fellow local investor from Hawaii, Dustin Amodo from Island Property Buyers, right?
yeah, thank you.
And you do ground up construction, fix and flip, all the things.
Yeah, a little bit of Airbnbs, contracting on the side as well and stuff like that.
Sick.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool because like we run in the same circles, right? We do the same things.
Right.
But I don't really know your story too much, so I'm excited to hear it.
Yeah. Same. I think right before we start, it's like you guys were in it before all of us. So like I always look at the people that came before us as people that paved the way for the next generation, you know? So
You're an OG.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. You guys were. So thank you so much for being on the podcast. And like, yeah, I'm super excited to hear your story too.
For sure. So the first question we always ask everybody is, how did you get into real estate?
I used to be a carpenter. I was in the Carpenters Union for about maybe 12, 13 years. I got out of high school. Actually, dropped out of high school. Tried to go to college for a little while. Dropped out of college. I was kind of dabbling in the union back and forth. But at the same time, I just kept getting laid off and trying to find my way. So in the middle of that, I tried to go back to college. Didn't like it again. Went back to the union, got a job, and actually at one point I was trying to get into the National Guard. And
No way.
I took the tests and everything. I was making my way through. I took the ASVAB, passed. I was just right there, about to get listed. I ended up going back to work because I want to stay down here.
Yeah.
Work again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just kept getting laid off, and then I was like, you know what? I want to start my own construction company. I started doing that for a little while. And then I was like, you know what? I kind of didn't like it after a while. I was like, you know, why not? I was I was always interested in real estate, so I was like, why not kind of combine the two? So I was like, why not try to flip a house? I was like, I seen a mentor course in Baltimore. Actually, this guy was posting it, and then then I was like, you know what? So I started looking it up, researching it, and I was like, you know, why am I gonna fly to Baltimore and learn from a guy up there?
Yeah.
You know, if I'm trying to do it down here. So I ended up doing it, you know, finding somebody down here, took his course, and after that I just kind of took off, I guess.
Yeah.
But even like after the course, kind of realized that you still gotta put in the work, you still gotta, you know, put in the grind. It's just not like a regular job where you finish the course and expect everything to be handed to you like a regular job, right? You still got to get out there and hit the ground running.
Totally different from the union, right?
Right.
Yeah.
What year was that?
What is it, like 2017 or 2018 or something like that?
Okay.
Yeah. 2018 maybe.
So the guy that you took the course from, he was local to Hawaii, or they were like a mainland company doing courses here?
Yeah, he was a local guy.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, he was a local guy. He doesn't do it anymore. I think he was doing it on online courses after he stopped doing it in person, and then now he's just, I don't know where he is now.
Was the emphasis that he taught was just on fix and flip, or was it like real estate in general?
It was, real estate flips targeted.
Okay.
So he did show us a little bit of passive income opportunities like Florida, buying bulk in Florida and stuff like that. But he yeah, it was mostly targeted for fix and flip and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because I do feel like a lot of people here go through that same thing, right? Like maybe they're interested in real estate, but all that they know is people that have classes on the mainland. You know what I mean?
Right,
and
right.
they don't necessarily want to go that route because Hawaii is such a unique place and a unique market. Like our real estate market is so unique here.
Right,
And you want to learn from somebody that's actually doing it here in Hawaii because there's all of these different intricacies and permitting and all that stuff. So
Right.
yeah, I feel like that's a super common path. And I would also like for new people, make sure that you're learning from somebody that's actually doing it here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean, what we found is like what they teach you on mainland courses, it's applicable only to a certain extent. Like the foundation is there and some tactical stuff is there, but when you try to do exactly A, B, C, D, what they tell you, it gets lost somewhere along the way because it just doesn't translate to our culture.
Exactly. That was exactly what I was going to say too. The
Yeah.
culture. They don't know the culture. So like what they could be teaching up there is like the way you approach somebody or delivery towards somebody down here. It could be, different. You know, it could be offensive to them.
Right.
Yeah.
You
know,
Disrespectful. Yeah.
exactly.
Big time. Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. Okay, so you started flipping in like 2017, 2018. Tell us about the first deal you ever did. How did you get it? Like all the
first
things.
deal.
Yeah.
So actually, it was a flip in Kaneohe. I found it on the MLS. It wasn't a crazy flip. It just was a single family home. Numbers looked okay, looked pretty good. But I was like, you know what? I just want to do this flip and complete it, just to kind of go through the whole cycle and get the feel of, buying a house, fixing it up, flipping it, and selling it. That house actually ended up on HGTV.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
Sick.
on Island Life. They
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they needed I guess the house fit the criteria, and they went over there and filmed and stuff. I wasn't in the video or anything.
But the house was, which is
the
cool.
house was, I was
Nice.
like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Help me sell
My
it.
first flip.
That's classic.
That's so cool.
It's like I
That's so
barely
cool.
knew anything about real estate. I mean, the funny thing is too that when I first started, I didn't even know what a real estate investor was.
Yeah.
It was like I didn't even know what was an agent. I just like nobody in my family and nobody I knew even did real estate at all. So I was kind
Wow.
of so green to it.
Yeah.
So I was like, what is this real estate investor? What is actually an investor? You know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it kind of took me a while to understand, but so it was a deal in Kaneohe. Made me like 20-30 grand on it.
That's a
But
win.
Still a
Huge
win,
win.
yeah.
I mean, I just glad I came out on top of that one.
Yeah, big time. But I mean, you learned like so that all the because I think back to our first few deals,
Right.
all the value is in going through the process
Right.
and like understanding that it's real and that learning how to work with, you know what I mean, people in the
Contract.
deal,
Wish we made 20,
contractors.
30 grand on our first deal because that
We
wasn't
lost.
the case.
We lost. Well, we broke even on our first deal, but
Yeah.
still,
You know what I
still,
mean?
It's
Breaking
super
even
cool.
is
It's
better
still a
than
win.
losing.
Yeah,
Still a win.
it's a win.
Okay, so question. Do you think being super green, like you said, and like having zero experience or no one in your family understanding or being in the real estate field helped you or hurt you?
That is a really good question.
Yeah.
That is really good. I think it could definitely go both ways in general, but for me myself, I couldn't really say if it did. I can say one thing though. I got kind of I know my dad always gives me tips and advice.
Yeah.
But if I were to listen to my dad,
Yeah.
then I wouldn't have been on the track I am today. Because he was because I was telling him, oh yeah, I think I want to flip houses. I want to do this. He's like, why do you want to do that? Just go talk to this person. I was like, why am I going to talk to them? They're not doing what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? And he was just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And then I'm like talking about these, back then, Kekoa, Lou and Corey, them, they was all, flipping, at the time too.
A lot, yeah.
And, I was talking about them. He's like, I don't trust those guys. I was like, well, you don't trust anybody. So it don't even matter. You know what I mean? You're about to give these guys money. I'm like, well, I don't know. I gotta go do something.
I gotta do something. Yeah.
That's
No, I only
classic.
asked because I feel like sometimes, just like you said, like our families have their own belief system and their own experiences, and it could like shape us in one way or another, and it could also like hold us back, or it can push us forward. You know what I mean? Like, it's talking about Jeremy Mateo earlier, like his mom was a broker, right? So like he started down that path, and I think it helped him in his career.
But it can go the other way. I think that answer is perfect. That's exactly
so
what I was
good.
going to say because, I mean, a lot of times what your family or friends or whatever think they know, they try and push on you.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, the belief
And
system.
exactly that belief system.
You know,
so,
like our family have dabbled in real estate in any kind of way, but like they told us in the beginning, real estate is something you do on the side. It's a hobby. And then you go and get a regular job, a good paying W-2, you know, you get retirement, and then you do real estate on the side. And thank God we didn't listen to that either. You know what I mean? But like my family now is like our biggest supporters, and like they're the backbone to everything we do. So it's like, it's just funny, you know? Family plays such an interesting part of our lives.
Yeah, it's super interesting because you, like you said, you didn't know anyone that had experience. Like, what was it that, first of all, like, how did you just like find real estate? Was it just something? And then how did you, because a lot of people get stuck just like learning, but you seem like somebody that just takes action and
figure it out.
You know what I mean? Is that something that's just internally inside of you, or?
I think just real estate. I always recognize that real estate, I feel like, had the biggest players in it, and I'm like, everybody needs a house to live in. There's just houses everywhere. You know, what is the value of a neighborhood or a place or somewhere without people or without a house, right? So I kind of realized the value in it, and I don't know why this thought popped in my head, but I was like, what if I could make $1 off every house?
Yeah.
You know, you walk down the street, that's $1. You walk past the next house, $2, $3. You know, it's only $1, over time. But so I kind of was so I took action by, let me see. I don't know, to be honest, when I found that course, I seen that how much you could make off of a flip. That motivated me.
Big time.
Because I'm gonna be honest, I was like, you know what, I was at a point in my life where I was collecting unemployment and it just ran out. So I had you know, nothing to my name. I was just living at a roommate, renting a place. And I was like, man, I gotta do something. I gotta make money fast. So I was like, okay, let's flip some stuff, you know. So I've flipped stuff before, and
You know, so totally.
I feel like most of the times when you have no plan B or your back's against the wall, like you will do whatever it takes. Versus if you have like a little bit of cushion or something to fall back on, you really won't give it 100%. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And money, usually for a lot of us investors, was the reason we got started.
It's the
we
beginning
needed
motivator.
Freaking money, you
Yeah.
know?
Like,
I
same.
just needed,
You just needed to start building active income as quickly as you could.
Right.
And that's what drew us to it. So same thing for us. I mean, we were 80 grand in debt. We were drowning in debt, and we just I just closed down my stores and like didn't know what I was gonna do.
We couldn't pay our bills. Like we needed help from family. We just had kids. Like we needed something new. You know, but it made us better because we didn't have it. There was no other option. It was all or nothing. You know.
So I have one more question. Because you had some like contracting background. Right. When you did your first flip, because I talk to so many contractors now that are like, how do I get on the investing side? Like all the time. You know what I mean? Right. Did that help you, that contracting background in your first flip and then subsequent flips? It did. Yeah,
it definitely did. I was able to walk through a property and feel so comfortable. Like I can just walk through a distressed property, like falling down, and I would just feel like I'm just in my environment. It would just feel like safe because it's like that's just what I've been working on my whole life almost. You know?
Totally.
So I was able to kind of walk through the house. Okay, that needs to be fixed. That needs to be fixed. I can just kind of pinpoint, just eyeball everything. So it was a really big help, and I felt like it gave me a lot of advantage in doing so.
100%.
Yeah,
because we didn't have that advantage.
that was like our. I think for a lot of people, that's one of the biggest struggles is being able to the construction part and being able to accurately understand what rehab costs are going to be or what to look for exactly. And then on the other side, once your contractor does it, making sure you know that it was good work or done the right way.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So
yeah, like I think this one story where it was definitely a big help. It was just actually recently on the deal I had with Stacy.
Yeah.
The house was kind of on a hill. It was a little bit crooked because it's post and pier.
Right.
And the contractors, the initial contractors on the project, they was trying to charge us $30,000 to re-level the house. They said we gotta dig holes in the ground,
Yeah.
4x4
Yeah.
footings.
Yep.
This and that. It's gonna be like $30,000 and really like going like way over budget.
Right.
yeah.
I'm like, nah, there's no way I can get this house leveled for $1,000, $2,000. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
All I do is come in, jack
Yeah.
the house up,
Yeah.
or cut the post, or do whatever to make it level, and
Yeah.
put shims underneath, or
Yep.
put a new post in. You know, what I mean?
Yep.
You don't need to be digging these big old footings. I mean,
Right.
it'll be good that way. And
Yeah.
I totally understood what he's saying, but
Yeah.
you know, cost wise, like we didn't see the same vision.
Yeah.
So it was, I think, you know, having that advantage of kind of knowing and
Understanding.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like we don't need to go down down that route of slam the sledgehammer. And we
Yeah.
can just put a little, thing there.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
You know,
totally.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
For like a fraction of the price.
Yeah, for way cheaper.
Well, I think that's our job as investors too, is to always try to mitigate risk and like figure out problem solving is really our one and only job.
Right,
Solve
right.
problems every step along the way from start to finish. And
Yeah.
that's an example of that.
Yeah, 100%. So you
Yeah.
did your first flip. Was that, how many did you do that year? What did you just immediately buy another house and buy another house? Like it just kept rolling from there? Or did you do your first flip, finished it totally, and then you moved on?
Do
you remember?
I don't know. I think
Experienced investor problem. Doesn't remember.
I know I bought it, and then it sat for a little while on the market. It
Yeah.
took maybe a few months to sell. I think that project was, about 6 months total. I think shortly after I bought my second flip. But that one I actually did lose on the second one. I lost. It was one in Wailua. I lost like I think it was like $20,000 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I lost, and
Yeah.
but then I think after the second one, I think I just revamped my whole marketing.
Oh, okay.
Because at first it was just like starting out, all we had was the MLS, and I was doing direct mailers.
Yeah.
There's kind of this funny thing where I was doing those handwritten font.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was putting a dollar bill in every single
No way.
letter
Yeah.
that I was sending out, just to give it a personal touch, to make sure it's to show
Yeah.
that it's real.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny, but after a while, when you ain't got no money,
Yeah.
it's like, you got
Like,
hundreds
you
of
can't do
dollars.
this anymore.
So I gotta buy the paper. I gotta buy the stamps. I gotta buy, you know what I mean? Envelopes, all that.
Yeah.
And some people actually sent the dollar back as, oh, sorry, we're not gonna sell our house, but here's your $1 back.
No
Like, send
way.
it back. I was like, oh man, you
That's
gotta send $1 back.
classic.
Really? That's hilarious.
Yeah, some
I've
people
never
actually
heard of
do.
anyone doing that.
Me
That's
either.
awesome.
Me
So
either.
classic.
Okay, so you kept flipping, and then so you said you revamped your marketing.
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean by that?
So I was doing the direct mailers, and then I was like, I gotta find a different way. So, I ended up finding Investor Carrot. Then I kind of went into like the digital space. So I was like, just go on the internet, try to drive traffic. I found them. You guys use them too, yeah? Investor Carrot.
We use AdWords, nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's who you use them too, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Investor Carrot is like the host, I guess, of the website.
Yeah.
And AdWords Nerds does the SEO and the
Yeah.
PPC.
That's
Yeah.
what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
then I kind of used. So I found them, and then I actually withdrew my 401k. I had about like 20,000 from the union, and I got like 15 out. Grabbed the whole thing, slammed it all into that.
Oh,
No,
wow.
Yeah, so I was like, if this doesn't work,
That's
I'm out.
freaking
I'm out.
commitment right there.
Shit out of luck. So I was like, man, this is all I got. So I just took the whole 15,000 and told them, give me the best package you got.
Yeah.
Here's 15 grand. Boom, slammed it all in.
Yeah.
They got to work. I started it on like January of, I think was 2020 or 2020 or something like that.
Yeah,
2020 or something. But and then those 4 months I found like 3 solid deals that
Sick.
just brought me like to a whole nother level.
Nice.
Like
Like jump started the the whole
jumps.
thing.
Yeah, it was like
Nice.
that was one of them. Was the Haula deal that found
Okay.
it there.
I remember
Yeah.
you presented on that deal on Keiko.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
right.
that one was a crazy
That one was
one.
crazy.
That was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was insane. I was like, thank God for all of that, man. 'Cause I would have paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's always, as us as investors, we can always pinpoint those like one or two deals that change the game for us. You know, where we
Right.
made 6 figures or more, and then we were like able to pour back into our business and then continue to scale. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think once you find those kind of deals, you kind of realize, okay, there's actually a lot more potential than you think, and there's like a way out. You know, where he
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
100%.
So I
Yeah.
think the mindset kind of shifted, and then I think there's just like this like spirituality and this belief, and your whole mindset and just shifts and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah.
had proof of concept. You're like, I'm there. I can do this, and I can actually make decent money doing this.
I mean, that's exactly what happened to us. Like,
Oh, yeah.
After, because our first deal broke even. Second deal we bought in the middle of our first deal, and that one,
I think we made like 5 or 10 grand
Yeah,
on our
yeah,
second
yeah.
deal. So
Like-
broke even 5 or 10 grand. We're like, fuck.
we're
is
at
this,
a we're
is
at
this
a
what
point
it's
like,
you know?
bruh, this is like
not supposed to be
stressful.
this
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
I'm like,
exactly. Like,
why are we doing this?
what are we doing? Is there something wrong? And then finally,
deal.
on our third deal, it was a townhouse, and we did the construction in a month, and
Still our quickest turnaround.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
like,
Is that
so-
the Maka Kilo you guys?
That's
the
I
Maka
remember
Kilo
that
one.
it was
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
70 something days, and we made
Yeah.
$39,000. And I was like,
Right.
okay,
Nice.
like finally, right? And then we kept flipping. And I remember the deal that changed the game for us was our IAEA house. We made over 300 grand. I was like, okay, this
Yeah, yeah,
is what
yeah.
it's like.
Yeah.
This is what it feels like.
Yeah.
this is what
We're able to, like,
But
pay
then
off
you're
all
right.
our
It
debt.
also inspires you to keep going too,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you're like, okay, this is
I do know what I'm doing.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Which
is
house was that? What
Uhaloa.
Uhaloa.
color?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Was it
real
blue?
blue. It
Yeah,
was like
well,
bluish.
ish.
Yeah.
It was dark.
Like a darker blue.
Darker
Yeah,
blue.
yeah.
I remember that.
With like a wood
Wood
staircase.
railing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the one. Yeah, that was the one that changed the game for us. You know,
That one had two
Yep.
levels.
Two
Yeah.
levels, yeah.
Yeah,
One
yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
studio underneath, actually a 1-bedroom
Yeah.
underneath, and then a 3-2 up top.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that one was the one that was like, okay, now
out
we're
of debt,
now
we
we're-
can pay ourselves.
Yeah,
we can
pay-
reinvest back into the business.
put
you
money
know,
into
like-
marketing and
So it sounds like going direct to seller changed the game for you, instead of
Yeah,
just buying
yeah.
stuff off the MLS.
Right, yeah. Direct to seller, yeah, because you can you have more control too.
Hmm.
I think just the internet back then was a lot more better too. You know, people was kind of just Googling everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And come across your stuff. Your
Yeah.
website pops up, boom.
Right.
done.
You know.
Yeah.
Right.
You get your lead in there. And did you guys find any good deals off of the investor card or?
Yeah, I mean, we still do it.
for real?
Yeah.
PPC.
We're still
Yeah.
doing PPC today. And this is my thing though. Okay, so with marketing, we do all kinds of different marketing strategies.
Right.
The PPC is more just like credibility. It gives you credibility in the marketplace.
Right.
And if we're spending $7,000 a month on PPC, if we just get one deal a year that nets us $100,000 from that,
Right.
it pays for everything,
Right.
right? And what normally happens for us is somebody will get a cold call from us. Then if they get a cold call, they're like, this seems kind of scammy, right? The next day they get a
Right.
text message from us. And then they're like, okay, wait, these guys just cold called me.
They're just getting hit from
Text
all angles.
message. let me look them up, and they go on the computer and look up our website,
Yeah.
and that's where all the credibility is found.
Nice.
And so we don't have, it's not a super consistent marketing strategy, but the easiest, deepest deals come from it. So like
Right.
we'll get, you know what I mean, a deal every 3 or 4 months from PPC. And that's just
Anybody
kinda how
that's
it goes.
Googling
Yeah.
sell my house fast for cash, they're probably pretty motivated to sell their house
Yeah,
fast for
yeah.
cash, you know?
Right.
We also do like of the whole state. So the last 2 PPC deals were in Hilo, and we're building.
see.
We're building like a portfolio in Hilo. So
Yeah.
it
Oh, nice.
works.
Yeah. So are you still doing PPC today, or what does your marketing look like now?
Right now I've actually so after that 1 year I had it running for like 4 months, and then I started again like right before COVID. And I ran it for like a year and a half, and I only got like one solid deal out of that whole year and a half.
Yeah.
But so I just kind of turned it off. Right now I'm actually not really doing any marketing. I'm just kind of a lot of the deals just come from social media.
Isn't that
Dude,
great?
And just people
so
just reaching
crazy.
out
So
and-
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm like I'm actually like saving some money on marketing.
Yeah, free
Yeah,
marketing
hell
is the
yeah.
best kind for sure.
social media, yeah.
Especially in Hawaii, where it's so small as it is, and everybody knows everybody. If if you talk about what you're doing and you're on social media, like deals come.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think some of our best ones, especially right now, are referrals anyway.
Yeah.
So I
Like
mean,
somebody's auntie or something.
somebody's
Yeah,
auntie
yeah.
or this realtor that follows you that comes across this property or
Right.
so
Especially when you're a Kalama and you're related to everybody. We just found out we're related to one of the properties, the owners of the property that we're under contract to buy right now.
That's the best kind.
like 6
Somewhere to your
houses down.
family.
It's so crazy,
Yeah.
right? I know.
Yeah,
Man,
it's
sell it to me.
classic.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fuck you over.
Yeah.
Promise.
Promise. So what was the most you've made on a fix and flip so far in your career? Not ground up, fix and flip.
Yeah. Oh, fix. Shoot. You know, it might have maybe like between 5 and 6, maybe.
Yeah, it's
That's
sick,
crazy.
dude. That's
5 and
amazing.
6,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, 5 and 6. Yeah, between 5 and 6, something like that. But,
Yeah. So when did that transition occur from fix and flip to ground up?
Oh, probably. Maybe like right before COVID.
Okay.
Yeah, right before COVID. So that was what, like 2021 or something like that. I
Yep.
think I just kind of just wanted to dabble a little bit. I just felt a little like I figured like why not kind of diversify and expand a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like here I'm going to flips, learn something else. I get bored pretty quickly. So
Sounds like
kinda,
someone I know.
I know, just the entrepreneur spirit. I want to try this, want to try
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, so I just kind of figured why not give it a try. I figure it's kind of easier to acquire as well because I guess less people are doing it. Less people are doing it because of the funding is a bit different. Back then, I think there was funding only 50% LTV,
Oh, wow.
50 or 60 or something like that. I think
Yeah.
they actually went up to like 75 at one point, but I think it just came back
Back
down.
down. Yeah.
So I know the funding was hard for people. The complexity of the permits, of CPRing, subdividing, and all of that.
Yeah.
I was like, why not try and learn this, something a little bit more easier, because you can find that on the MLS any day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually the numbers can line up pretty well, but
Yeah.
that's kind of why I kind of went into that space as well.
Are the margins bigger? Like,
Yeah, it can be a lot bigger.
okay.
As of right now, though, I'm kind of scaling back from the developments because of the permitting. It's just taking way too long, so I'm kind of just putting that on hold. But
Yeah.
the margins are pretty. If a development can go pretty smoothly, like that foreground up Lahaina one, that would have been like an easy like 600,000 if
Nice.
COVID never hit and all that.
Yeah.
Right.
The other 2 ground ups I have in escrow right now in Makona Street, that one I think was it was just like a quick 400,000, and it was just like not even like me trying to squeeze the deal.
Yeah.
It was just because we bought the land, we built 2 huge homes on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Split it. Now we can sell it individually, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I have so
Yeah.
many questions about development because I feel like that's kind of the natural progression too
Right.
from a real
Yeah.
estate investor. Like we start
Fix
fixing
and
and
flip,
flipping,
ground
we
up.
do
Yeah,
that, and
yeah.
then it's like, oh
it's like
wait,
the next step.
yeah, I
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
start doing some development, and so
You just check all the boxes,
yeah, totally. But for the average like new person, when you say CPR, what does that mean?
CPR stands for Condo Property Regimen. It's just basically CPRing the land, splitting the land is basically the same thing as subdividing, except with CPRing, you go through an attorney and the real estate board instead, so it's a lot faster. Just the only thing is sometimes with the CPR, depending on the infrastructure, you have to You might have to share the same plumbing or the same electrical.
Got it.
Because subdivide is always separate.
Separate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot faster. You probably can get CPRs done in like 4 months, 4 to 6 months.
That's amazing.
Crazy.
Yeah, subdivides. I've seen. So the 2 ground ups I had, we was actually subdividing that one first, and 2 years later, it's not even.
That's crazy,
Yeah,
dude.
so
So
that one,
wild.
the subdivision, you gotta go through DPP partially.
Mm.
You gotta go through the state. The other one, you just go through the attorneys and the real estate board, and that's it, and you get approved.
Got
Wow.
it. Yeah.
So,
So CPR over subdivide if you can.
yeah, if you can. Just the only thing is that, and then you gotta get the TMK. The only thing is that supposedly the CPR holds a little bit less value because it's like it's like a connected from the
You're
other
still
part.
Right. You still
attached,
share
yeah.
common.
Yeah, it's not like its own separate like a subdivision.
Right.
But if the buyer doesn't really care, which they probably won't.
No.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
That's super interesting.
So what do you look for when you're underwriting a ground up deal? What are you looking for? How do you know that the land is a good deal to buy? Are there certain things or?
I guess depending. Yeah, I guess all the details it kind of just comes into play. Just kind of, what is zoned, what it's zoned, how big is the lot, how's the infrastructure, how's the layout, if you have to create an easement or something. Usually corner lots are the best because you can have their own separate driveways and the house is gonna be next to each
oh
other.
yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Sometimes you have to like do flag lots where you have a long driveway and make an
Right.
easement, or because a lot of times when you have certain lots where it's like those long rectangular driveways,
Right.
you can have one driveway and make an easement, or you can have its own driveway, which would be more preferable, but it takes up so much more
space.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
so
makes
it's kind of
sense.
like unusable space. But some people like the long driveways, so
Right,
Yeah.
right,
because it's like more
right.
privacy in the
Right.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is super interesting. I think the key is like you're getting a big piece of land and for one price, you're splitting it up and selling it multiple times.
Yeah,
Like
just chopping
you're
it all
And
up.
that's
Yeah,
where you're
it's
making your
chopping
money. Yeah, that's where
yeah.
you're making your money.
But that's super, super cool. So you're pulling back. I mean, we talked a little bit about permits. We could literally have
Right.
hour and a half long discussion
yeah.
about DPP and how
Yeah.
crazy it is here.
Yeah.
So what
Worst
is
in the nation.
yeah.
Worst in the nation.
No, it is. It 100% is. We're,
Josh Green was just talking about how it's costing homeowners like an additional $200,000 to $300,000 just to get their permit to go through DPP with like their waiting times and all the fees and all this stuff.
Right.
It's
right.
ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see that this morning? He was talking about.
I
that?
think it was yesterday or the day
yesterday?
before. Yeah.
yeah.
I suppose somebody told me. I'm not sure how true it is, but somebody told me that he was speaking this morning, saying they're trying to hire a whole new system. But
I hope so. Let's see it.
I know. There's
just
I
just
would-
speed it up and like cancel out certain restrictions or something.
Well, there is
Yeah.
that new law, right? That bill that Andrea Tupola was heading that
Right,
eliminated some things that need permits now, like fences and stuff like that. But it's nothing it's great and it's helpful, but it's not gonna help us in our situation with our permits. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, they gotta I think they gotta more so beef up like what's already in progress and kind of take care of that.
100%. because-
Majority of the permits that are in DPP right now are for solar.
Yeah, like
Oh, do
60 plus % of the
Yeah.
backlog
Are
in
for
DPP is
frickin'
to
solar.
put solar on.
How stupid
And
is
so
that?
what if they just removed those permits and put them in their own section?
Right.
It would
Clear up so
speed
much
up
of our stuff.
our side like
Wow.
way quicker.
And it's
but
funny though because Hawaii's like renewable energy, and we want to be super clean, and they can't even approve freaking solar permits. It's ridiculous.
that's so
dude.
nuts.
I know they should just cancel the whole thing. Right?
No,
was
for
kinda-
real.
They
Yeah.
should privatize it, but then you're taking money out of the state, right? So
Right.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking too. I was like, maybe one way to kind of beef up. I think would just be to pay them on commission rather than being like a salary base, because if they get paid on commission, it'll make them go in there and work. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
how much
Exactly.
they process.
Let me pound these out.
Yeah.
You know what
Yep.
I mean,
Instead of
look.
going up, showing up, and just working, half,
bare minimum. They know they're going to get paid.
Right,
That's why
right.
that's why sales guys get paid commission and project managers get commission,
Eat
because
what you kill. Eat what you kill.
you incentivize them to work hard. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Yeah. I think in the end we need way more people.
Yeah.
Like there's just so much backlog.
Well,
Like the
it's
system can't
It's an
handle it.
archaic dinosaur system too. Like, update the system.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
my gosh,
Yeah,
you know. Yeah. All right. We will digress.
Yeah.
Digress.
So pulling back on development, what's kind of where are you going? Are you back into the fix and flip space more?
Yeah. What is
or-
your focus right now?
Yeah.
That's a really good question too. So for the development, I'm kind of just scaling back a little bit. I probably always do fix and flip. I kind of want to get a little bit more into the midterm rentals, vacation rentals a little bit more. And then I also kind of, I've been kind of getting interested into like exotic car rentals, because I like
nice.
exotic cars.
Oh, you want to buy a Lambo like Daniel and
yeah.
Josh?
Make a business
And
out
Josh?
of it.
Yeah, I kind of want to make a business out of this. I've been doing a lot of research on that. Like I know, like down here, it's not as heavy, but like in Vegas, it's like, man, that thing is nice.
Houston.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know Houston?
Yeah.
And from Vegas. Caressa, I think his name is. But he owns this like massive exotic car rental
Oh, no way.
place. And like he just blew it up. It's
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
crazy up there. It's
no
nuts.
way.
I would think it would be something down here though, because a lot of people with money come to Hawaii
wanna
for
drive nice
vacation.
cars.
Right.
Yeah, and they want to drive nice cars.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
Super interesting.
I was kind of studying the market too a little bit, and I noticed that the cars that get rented out is like, so like the Lambos, they usually go from like 800 a day all the way up to like 2,000 a day.
Nice.
But I noticed if you have like some kind of supercar that's a little bit cheaper, maybe a little bit older, maybe like the 400 or 500 range.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people was like willing to spend that much, and I feel like those cars, they get like so much traction, and a lot of people just it's
Yeah.
always the red Ferrari convertibles.
No way.
It's
Yeah,
also
yeah.
red, like I've seen like, and actually people are starting to replicate that system with the red Ferrari convertibles, and just over and over and over, and it's starting to
Nice.
get a lot of
So sounds like you're a car guy.
yeah. I love
Yeah.
I love car. I love modded car. I was kind of at one point I was kind of like, why not like have like a modded car, rental thing? Like
Yeah.
people want to drive like custom cars, but I was like, that's kind of
Totally.
a liability too. Though.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like another thing too. I was like, I've been kind of thinking of it for a while, but I think I said it on the coffee talk
Yeah.
thing. But just opening up a wedding venue too, I think.
Oh
would be
yeah, I
fun.
remember you were talking about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I've been kind of looking during COVID. I was looking. I haven't really looked lately, but yeah, I think opening up a wedding venue, finding a piece of land, building it, and then pulling in Jamina's team and all her connections. 'Cause
She's
there.
in that industry, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she has all the connections in that space. Yeah, on
She's
that
been-
side.
Yeah, she's been in the wedding industry for like 15 years, and she's like a highly preferred vendor from like the top from Four Seasons,
Yeah.
Ritz-Carlton.
Well, you
Yeah.
know what's
All
funny? It's a
over.
small world because I always see Heather Heen on your
Yeah,
guys'
that's your
stuff.
cousin, right?
Yeah. cousin,
and
yeah,
she
yeah,
did
yeah.
my makeup for my
Oh, no
wedding.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did art. Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
it's
okay.
so funny. So,
So
I'm like,
funny.
small world.
Yeah, my dad and Heather's dad, who passed away, were best friends growing
no
up.
way.
Yeah. So
Oh.
yeah, small world.
It is a small world.
Yeah.
But you mentioned wedding and Jamina, and I thought of Heather. So-
Yeah,
I mean,
she-
that would be cool. I don't know. There isn't any really like
Yeah,
well thought out
Well, like privatized.
privatized
Not a
wedding
ton, not
venues.
a ton.
Everything is like hotels or like
Right,
or
right.
estates.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to and I noticed the reason why I kind of like pulled back on that a little bit too is because at one point, a lot of the state started cracking down on the wedding venues because of the
cannot-
ag land or
yeah,
something. So
yeah,
it was
yeah.
like starting to have all these restrictions on
Well,
it.
now
Oh,
you need
man.
a permit to freaking take pictures on the beach. Like, are you
Oh, no
kidding
way.
me?
You-
Oh, yeah.
wow.
So
Yeah, it's wild.
stupid,
It's
bro.
getting crazy. Yeah.
You
It's
know,
ridiculous.
so you know the piece of land that was by Crouching Lion that was for sale. There, right by Crouching Lion, before you turn into Kahana Bay, there was a property right there that was for sale. It used to be the Crouching Lion Inn.
I think I've seen that one.
should
Dude,
buy
that
that. Yeah.
property
That one is
would
sick.
be so sick. It's like right on the ocean. There's
Yeah.
this big like chapel kind of. It's all remodeled too.
Yeah, tons of
I never looked
parking.
into it, but that
Yeah.
would have been that'd
Right
be
there.
a cool
You should
one.
buy that
That
one.
was like a couple of years ago. Yeah, it was
I
for
feel
sale.
like it's
Yeah.
still for sale.
Yeah.
though.
It might still be. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
But
Oh, that was crazy. Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, for sure. So, how many projects are you doing a year?
I get. It's kind of hard to say because I guess some of the projects like go into the next year.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
totally. Yeah.
So it's like
Okay, how many properties do you buy a year? That's a better
I don't
question.
know. Maybe. Well, I just sold four houses in April, and I think a couple more before that. So I sold 6, and I'm selling 4 more this month.
Yeah.
So it's about 10 houses, and I bought maybe like about only 2 or 3 this year.
So between like 10 and 15 a year, maybe? Does that sound about right?
Possibly, yeah.
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 Possibly.
Yeah.
I know,
So-
yeah.
Yeah. So what does your team look like right now? Is
Yeah.
it? Are you a is it
one-man
you?
show?
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, like I kind of sub everything out.
Love
Kind
that.
of like have everything subbed out. I have my ground up guys. I have my fix and flip guys. I kind of compartmentalize everything.
Love that.
So if like I have a project, okay, these guys go in here. These guys, like everything's kind of compartmentalized.
Yeah.
And then I honestly don't really know how I do it. I guess that's just kind of
Yeah.
how I made it or how it
Do
came about.
whatever
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
But you also have a designer that helps you, right?
Yeah, I used to.
Oh, okay.
I used to have a designer, a project manager that helped me, and then she ended up getting her real estate license. So it was a good fit for a little while because
Yeah.
right when I bought the property, I give her the keys, hand it over.
Yeah.
Here, you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sell it. You design it. And then I can just pull back and just
Right.
Yeah.
reposition
Focus on
all-
other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a good fit, but then I think that towards the ending, it just didn't really work out.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
It always,
Because I kind
yeah.
of found like there's other things and opportunities that came about where
Yeah.
it kind of made her look a little standard.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
this is just like she was really good at what she did, but
Yeah.
for somebody like I could just get such a great deal somewhere else.
Right.
with
Totally,
somebody that I
totally.
could
Right.
give so
Yeah.
much to, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, we're always having to pivot, right?
Yeah.
Things work for a
100%.
season and then,
Right,
yeah.
right.
Okay, so what has been your biggest like challenge so far in your investing career that you've had to overcome?
Biggest challenge, I
Yeah.
think. I think just permits. You know, I think for me it's just permits. I think permits. It just eats up the holding cost. It just especially with the development side too. It's such big loans.
Yeah.
Because if you're like trying to buy the land and you build 4 homes, you got this loan to build 4 brand new homes, then you're paying interest on that whole principal.
Right.
And the
Yeah.
permits then it's all done, it's listed. You're still waiting for the permits, and
Yeah.
sometimes you can't sell them with the open permits, right?
Right.
And then I think it's permits. I think location is definitely one to consider too. The west side is a really tough market.
Yeah.
Especially right now. It's a really tough market because a lot of the buyers are slower to pull the trigger.
Yep.
They have a lot of inventory over there. They they're just always open to options.
Yeah.
Yeah, we second that opinion. We had to write a check recently to sell a house on the west side,
Yeah.
and so we steer clear of that side because I feel like specifically it's the more affordable side, which is amazing, but then the interest rates truly affect those price points and those buyers' ability to buy. You know what I
Right.
mean? And yeah, they do have more options. They do take more of their time as they should, but it's definitely a challenging market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
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 We've even pulled back from all on the west side, Eva Beach area.
Yeah.
We're very hyper focused on the
East.
markets that we
East and top.
that we
East.
love. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
Kaneohe, Kailua, Hawaii Kai. I think for us it's like all of those things we take into consideration, but then we also are looking at like who's the inspector in the area.
Right,
Right.
right.
Like that all obviously plays a very big role. in whether or not you're going to be able to work, if they're going to let you work on the house while you have permits open. All the kind of things we have to take into consideration.
I mean, dude, I agree. I think permits is one of our biggest challenges throughout our career to date, for sure. And it's like always something new, always a new challenge, always a different inspector.
Yeah.
It's
it just never ends.
It never freaking ends.
Yeah.
And then so flip that. Like, what's the biggest triumph or the biggest success you've had in your career so far?
Biggest triumph career. Let me see. I guess just learning. Learning it all, going through it all. I think my biggest triumph is being able to handle like huge loss. You know, being able to go through the motions, take the hits, because just like that saying goes, right? It's not as how hard you can hit, it's how hard you can get hit and keep going, right?
100%.
So true.
Yeah, so I think this year for me was a lot of big hits, and I think, and I've definitely had my moments, but I think, going through that has definitely made me grateful for, for life and for everything else that is going on, and other than just losing money, there's just so much more to life than just losing money if you are losing money.
Yeah.
Right.
Or even making money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's just so much more to life than money. Yeah.
Right.
I think our strength as entrepreneurs is our ability to continue to overcome and persevere.
Yeah.
Right,
you know?
Right.
No, 100%. And we were just talking about this earlier. Like our ability to, yes, weather and overcome and persevere is like number one, but it's also like being able to not get super, super, super excited when we're doing really, really well, and not get depressed to the point where we just give up when we're taking hard knocks.
Things are going wrong.
Like, we can basically stay even keel, you know what I mean, through the ups and the downs.
Yeah.
Because we see like the bigger vision.
And
you know what I mean?
remember like why you even got into this game, and like remember what the end goal is,
Right.
This is the thing I always tell myself. And we have to do this because it takes you have to be intentional about being grateful, I think, right?
I had to do it last night at 1 a.m. when I was
exactly.
up stressing out.
You gotta remember.
Freaking out at 1 a.m.
The things that we were grateful for 4 years ago, we wouldn't necessarily be grateful for now, right? But like taking a step back and being like, look at where I live. I live in a beautiful house that we own, just like you guys. You know what I mean? Same thing.
I want to talk about your house real quick. Like, what's the story behind that? Because there's a small few of us investors that actually live in one of the houses that we like. Whereas a project, we decided to keep it.
Right. Yeah,
Sorry,
me
cut
and
you off,
Kamohai was
but-
just talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing like you guys. Like, it was a vacant land for like 30 years. Nobody built on it. I bought it as a flip. My partner that did the ground up, he designed it. And towards the ending, I just was falling in love with it, and I started catching feelings. And
Hey, don't you hate when that happens?
It's the one thing that we're not supposed to do, right? But it happens all the time.
yeah, and I was like, man, I think I belong here. I feel like this is my castle.
I
feel
can relate.
Yes, and then then towards the ending, I was like, I told my partner and my private money lenders and stuff, like, you know what, I think I'm gonna just pay you guys out of pocket, and I'm gonna move in, and what kind of what kind of led me to that was when, because me and my family, we got a family of 7, and we was living in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment. And it just like the kids was just getting bigger. My kid, one of them just went to high school. There's some is in middle school. We got all the way from what is it, 7, 9, 11, 12, and 13.
Wow.
So like the kids were just getting bigger. We just needed more space. Everybody's just stepping over each other.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this is the house where it's just perfectly.
Everybody has breathing room.
Yeah, everybody has their own room.
Yeah.
There's a part of the house where I do rent out. And that helps with the mortgage as well.
Yeah, that's great.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was like, I think this is the perfect house. I think we belong here. So,
That's awesome.
So you just paid off all of your debt.
yeah.
So you own it free and clear?
Oh no, paid out my
Private lenders and
Yeah.
and partners.
So I refied out, and then one thing too is that the mortgage was gonna be kind of high because it is a real expensive
Yeah,
house.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think the house was like I think it was like little over 2 million or something.
It's
Yeah.
a huge house,
It's a
and it's in that
huge
it's in the area of Makakilo that's like the very
it's a
very
higher-
nice.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
higher.
It's
It's
gorgeous
we're
up there.
right next to Kumulani Gate.
Yeah.
Right,
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 next
right.
street over, and
Right.
all the houses up there is, I think up in like the $1.5 million range.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But yeah, the reason why I kind of paid everybody out it was to kind of drop the
Yeah.
principal down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because yeah, for me, I was kind of fine with the high mortgage. You know, I know what it feels like, but
Yeah.
for my wife, she didn't feel comfortable. So like, you know, here I'm gonna put some money down, bring
Right.
it out, so you're comfortable and you're happy. So,
Right.
Yeah, I love that.
Right.
yeah, I did that for her.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's something special about living in your projects, dude. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. You know, well, it's a couple of things. You know, the sweat equity, you know, the passion behind everything, you know, the decisions. And like, you can kind of stand behind your product because you're like, no, I live in one of my products. Like, I
Right,
know what these houses are a year later. You know what I mean?
Right,
So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's kind of funny too because when me and Kamohai was talking earlier, he said he was changing everything.
Yep.
He wanted to change everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, I feel the exact same way because I didn't design the house. Like I didn't design it,
Exactly.
and I feel like I want to change everything, but everything is new, so it's like I don't know.
It's
what
like,
to do.
is that stupid?
Yeah.
Is that a dumb decision? I know. Well,
Well, I
it's,
mean,
it's
that-
me.
that-
I'm like,
that's-
I want to do this. I
But
want to do
that's
this.
a-
I want to do
yeah.
this.
The thing is that when we do these houses, we're trying to appeal to
the
as
masses.
many buyers as possible, right?
Right,
And so
right.
we're not designing them specifically for
For our
us.
taste.
Right.
And
Yeah.
now
Right.
it's like, okay, I want to change
Well.
that. Want to
Yeah.
do this in the studio. So yeah.
But I
It's just cool.
remember, it's important to remember where you came from. When we first started, we were renting, barely making ends meet. And then we just started flipping, getting money and buying rentals until we were at a point where our rentals could pay for a large mortgage.
Right, right.
And that's when we knew that we were ready to keep this house. And then I also fell in love with this house. I grew up 2 streets over.
Oh no!
Yeah, and I went to
I remember hearing.
And I
that.
went to Colorado High School. So I'm like, this feels like home for me. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, my family's from Kailua, and then they moved to Kaneohe, but my dad them lived like 5 minutes down the road,
no
so it's
way.
like, yeah, it was a no-brainer.
yeah. But everyone was like, why are you buying rental property when you're renting? You know,
Right,
like
right.
it didn't make sense
They
to
didn't
everybody.
get it.
Yeah.
But it makes sense to them now.
Makes sense to an investor, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It makes sense to an
100%.
investor.
Yeah, totally.
So I want to talk a little bit about partnerships before we kind of wrap up, but
Yeah.
Okay.
because you have mentioned that you have partners, you know what I mean?
Right.
What would you tell someone that is looking to partner up with somebody? And then just like how partnerships have been for you.
Right, right. Yeah, I would just say bring value, bring some kind of value, either bring funds or bring the deal. Those are pretty much the 2 main things. Probably the best way to find the deal, because everybody can have money if
Yeah.
if you're trying to partner with an experienced investor, another deal would be great.
100%.
Always.
Yeah, we're always looking for deals. We're always out there looking for deals.
Yeah.
There's money. We kind of built like an empire of money already, and like a pool of money where we can
Right.
pull from. And
Right.
all,
Right.
Yeah.
and all that. But
I agree.
Yeah.
I feel like we always say there's so many parts to a deal, and you have to at least bring one of them in order to bring enough value
Right.
to have an equity play in it. There's the
Yeah.
deal, there's the money, there's the experience, there's the construction. Like what are you bringing to the table?
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's difficult to kind of value that, but I do think that the deal itself is normally the hardest thing to find.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean? Like finding a good home run deal, like if you can bring that to an experienced investor, that's all the value in
Yeah.
the world.
Right,
So
right.
yeah.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and sometimes that equals equity, sometimes that equals an assignment, you know what I mean? But like if you're open to learning along the way, like
Right.
that's the part you can't get back. Like that's worth money right there.
Right,
If people
right.
understand that, like
Right.
sometimes it's not about an equity position, it's about learning how to do it yourself by watching that investor do it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Okay, so to wrap up, last couple questions.
Sure.
If you could go back to the beginning, what is one thing, if any, that you would do differently?
What is one thing? For me, probably nothing. Because I think for me it's just nothing. I think I'm just grateful for all the trials, tribulations, and triumphs. I think all of that made me who I am today.
Yeah.
And thankful for the losses and thankful for the wins, and just just keep it pushing and moving forward. I think that's the only way to go.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I always ask myself that question, and my story is kind of a crazy one, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know if I really want to change anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because
yeah.
all of those things got me to where I am today.
And made it who you are.
Exactly who you are as a person.
Right.
So love
Character is usually built in the shortcomings. You know what I mean?
Right,
It's
right.
usually built in the losses and the hardship, not on the highs. It's built on the lows. So,
that. Totally.
who inspires you? Who motivates you?
Who motivates me? Probably myself, man. I don't know. I just feel like I just want to just do something big. Just want to leave a legacy. I gotta be honest. I love nice things. I love expensive
Me
things.
too.
So do we, man.
Me too.
100%.
Ain't no shame in that game.
Yeah, not at
And,
all.
just for my kids too, just to kind of be able to kind of give them a life too that that's safe and secure and solid.
Yeah.
Without without having to worry about money, or because one thing too is the biggest problem within like the household a lot of times it's because of money, because they don't
Yep.
have enough.
100%.
Like if you have enough money, like what if you can cut a check for every problem you had? You know what I mean? That's pretty much what money is. It's
Yeah.
just money does solve problems. You cut
It's
checks.
a tool,
1000%.
right?
It's a tool.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No,
Exactly. It makes everything a lot easier.
Right. So
And
we
if
just-
you were able to make your life, your kids' life, your family life, your community's life a lot easier, why would you not do that?
right,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just
What do you have to say for this being priced out of paradise movement?
priced out of paradise. I think it's all economics, man. I think this is just a total. I think you know what I mean. It's like it's just economics. It's the market. You know what I mean. It's Hawaii is Hawaii because of the reason. It's paradise. It's not. How do you say it? It's not the ghetto where it's gonna be cheap.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
pay the price to live in paradise.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Not getting
Yeah.
priced out of paradise. You can't live at a nice place for being cheap. I mean, it sucks, and it's unfortunate for the local people that can't afford it. But the thing is that we all got the same 24 hours in a day. We still all got responsibilities. You can make something happen if you wanted to. So I know some people, they might be incapable, but I mean, it's just all economics. The reason why it costs so high to live in paradise is because it's low inventory.
Supply and demand.
Yep, supply and demand.
Well,
Yep.
you just said it. Like, there's a housing crisis, but yet there was a vacant lot that sat there for 30 years,
Yeah.
undeveloped, that
Yeah.
you now live in.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Like-
It's a
red
hard.
flag,
Yeah,
Yeah,
so like you
totally.
can take action. You can take action to get to where you want to be in life instead of sitting there blaming we're priced out of paradise. And I mean, it's expensive, of course it is, but that's the price you pay to live in paradise.
Yeah, I love that,
well,
man.
there's also a mindset shift, and there's information, and there's education that can change your entire perspective and therefore change the outcome of your life. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah, it's that, and you have to be willing to go out there and figure that shit out. Like
Yeah,
you need
yeah,
to
totally.
fill your mind with learning all of that stuff and
Right.
taking that action, and then
Exactly.
you don't get priced out of paradise. You
thrive.
buy that house.
right.
You thrive in
Right.
paradise.
'Cause,
You know what I mean?
I think we both was in paradise with our backs against the wall,
Yeah.
and we're still, here today, and we're comfortable now.
Yeah.
Because why we took the knowledge, we implemented it, we took action. And
100%.
So
we were willing to stretch our minds, adapt new ways of thinking, and
Right.
apply new skill sets. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know?
Totally. Yeah.
Okay, last question. What impact do you hope to leave with the audience? Like, what do you want to leave people with?
Biggest, I would say, the attitude of gratitude.
Love that.
The
Me
attitude
too.
of gratitude. Just being abundant. Having a joyful mindset. Some days it sucks. Some days you're getting pounded into the pavement. But at the end of the day, try to pick yourself back up, and just realize if you're here on Earth, that there's more than to be grateful for.
Yeah.
I love that.
Dude.
It's that simple, really.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, because that's what talked me off the ledge last night when I'm like sitting in bed, I can't sleep. We have a million things on our plate. Some
Yeah.
things are going good, some things we have to mitigate. But then if you go back to what's positive, what am I grateful for, you're able to just ground yourself,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
you know,
Totally,
and
yeah.
keep moving forward.
Yeah, yeah. I think it'll keep you, it keeps you, just sane. It keeps you, on track and just keeps you sane.
Yeah,
Yeah. No. 100%.
totally.
Nice.
So where can people find you?
Yeah. Where can people find
Reach out
Dustin?
to Dustin.
You can find me on Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh.
Dustin, what is my, what is it? Dustin Amodo, I think.
Dustin
I don't even
Amodo.
know.
Well,
I
let's
think it's
check. Let's
Dustin-
check what
I
it
think
is.
Is it Dustin dot
Dustin period Amodo?
Let
Dustin
me see.
period.
Let me
And then
see.
Facebook, I haven't really done any. I've actually kind of been off of social media for a little bit,
Yeah,
but just been busy with other things. But yeah,
it is. It's Dustin.Amodo.
Dustin.Amodo.
There you go.
Yeah.
Dustin.Amodo, Island Property Buyers. Dude, we are so grateful that this is a long overdue this
Sure.
podcast. So thank you for sharing your time with us.
Yeah,
If
for
we
sure.
can do anything to help you out in any way, you got
Reach
my
out.
number, honestly.
Yeah.
And I know that the audience will appreciate this story.
Same
so
as
For
well.
sure.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah.
for
For
having
sure,
me.
for
I
sure.
appreciate the opportunity, man.
Right
It's
on.
long overdue.
Yeah.
I'm glad
yeah.
we got to do it. So.
yeah, big time.
Peace out, everybody.
Right on, you guys.
I'm blowing